Eenie Meenie grew up in a broken home. Both of her parents struggled with drug abuse, and as a teenager she often had to drive them around even though she was underage. One day, while driving them home, she noticed a police car following her. Fear took over because she was not old enough to drive. She pulled over in panic, worried that the police would arrest her parents. Her father urged her to keep going since her mother was carrying illegal goods. Under pressure, Eenie slammed the gas and fled. That was the start of it all. This is Eenie Meenie. 14 years passed. Now an adult, Eenie had once been pulled into crime by her boyfriend, but she was determined to change. She found steady work and promised herself she would never return to crime or date another criminal.
I'm sorry about her.
You still don't look sorry.
Like Jack Skeleton and shit.
The next morning, she overslept. Rushing to get ready for her bank job, she grew frustrated when her car broke down briefly. She eventually reached the bank and went straight to work. Not long after, chaos erupted. A group of robbers stormed the bank. Customers screamed and employees froze. Eenie stayed calm, raised her hands, and obeyed their orders to lie down. She spotted one robber's gun and considered fighting back, but the odds were against her. As she tried to act, someone struck her, and everything went black. When she regained consciousness in the hospital, she learned the robbers had been arrested and no one was hurt. Relieved, she gave her statement to the police, pointing out mistakes the robbers made during the heist. She could recognize those mistakes because all bank staff received robbery response training. Then the doctor gave her unexpected news. She was pregnant, about 2.5 months along. Shocked, since she had noticed no symptoms, she turned to her friend to share the situation. Eventually, she decided she had to face her ex-boyfriend, the only person she had ever been with. The next day, Eenie forced herself to visit her ex-boyfriend. She felt uneasy because this was a part of her past she had worked hard to leave behind. When she reached his apartment, she hesitated before knocking. No one answered. Gathering her nerve, she stepped inside and found the place in chaos. Clothes and women's underwear were scattered across the floor. The sight angered her, but John was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, noises came from another room. Eenie saw John being beaten by several men who pointed guns at him. Shocked, she stepped back outside, but then noticed a metal pipe nearby. Acting on impulse, she rushed back in. She swung the pipe, poured hot water on the attackers, and pulled John out of the apartment. Both of them fled in panic until they reached another apartment John claimed belonged to a friend. Inside, Eenie demanded answers, but the place had a new owner. Worse, the man pointed a gun at them. Moments later, the same group that had attacked John burst in. The new owner revealed their presence, while John tried to buy protection with promises of money. The plan failed. The attackers shot the owner dead. In the chaos, Eenie grabbed the gun and fired back, but the two of them had no chance to hold out. They escaped once more, exhausted and shaken. Outside, John found a car key in his pocket. They jumped into the vehicle and sped away, triggering a chase. Enie's driving skills kept them alive. She swerved through traffic, hid behind a truck, then rammed into the pursuer's car to break free. When she finally stopped, guilt hit her. She regretted ever reuniting with John. She told him she wanted to leave, especially since he refused to explain why he was being hunted. As she prepared to walk away, John begged her to stay and promised to tell the truth. He led her to another location and admitted he had been involved in kidnapping and murder. The confession enraged her. She turned her back, but John called after her, claiming the kidnapped man was still alive. She then learned that the victim was a subordinate of a mafia boss named Nico. John had taken him not to kill, but because the man was a skilled poker player. John planned to use him to win money in high-stakes games. Eenie was disgusted. She demanded John return the man to Nico. Reluctantly, John agreed. On the way, they stopped at a burger shop. While John went inside, the captive tried to escape. Before they could react, a passing truck struck him and killed him instantly. Not long after, Eenie received a call. The voice on the line was Nico himself. He ordered her to meet him. Fear surged through her as she hung up. In the car, she lashed out at John, furious that he had dragged her deeper into his problems. An hour later, Eenie and John arrived at Nico's place. Nico immediately lashed out at John for failing to complete his previous orders. During the confrontation, it became clear that both Eenie and John had once worked under Nico, involved in crimes such as robbery and drug trafficking. Nico then shifted the conversation. He explained that a poker tournament would soon take place at a casino, with a prize of $3 million and a luxury car. He wanted Eni to use her driving skills again and join John in a heist. Without hesitation, she refused, reminding him that she had left crime behind. At first, Nico accepted her answer calmly. He admitted that she had always completed her tasks without failure. But then he turned to John, threatening to kill him if he did not settle a debt of $3 million within a week. Eni said nothing, though she began to reconsider. She did not want John dead. She left, insisting that she would not take part in any job. John followed her, pleading for help. Their argument grew heated, as Eni could not understand how he had accumulated such a massive debt. Even with his explanations, she stood firm. Still, she faced a painful dilemma. She no longer loved John, but he was the father of the child she carried. Finally, she gave in. Together, they returned to Nico to confirm their decision to help. At that moment, Eni asked Nico to provide a car for the job. He quickly arranged for one and ordered her to pick it up. She followed through, securing the vehicle, which meant she was once again tied to John until the heist was complete. Against her wishes, she had returned to crime. That night, she and John went to a bar to meet one of Nico's associates. While waiting, Eni drank a beer and thought about the years when she had been with John. Meanwhile, John tried to attract attention by challenging bar patrons to a billiards game with small bets. No one cared, and he was thrown out. Humiliated, he turned violent and started a fight. The commotion caught the attention of a man named Fowler, who pulled a gun on John. Fowler was revealed to be Nico's associate, assigned to help with the casino heist. He introduced two insiders from the casino, Cole and Kenny. Together, they outlined the casino's layout and the steps required for the plan. From the discussion, Eni learned that the prize money and the luxury car would be kept inside the car itself. She suggested finding an identical car to use as a diversion. Cole then presented a map of the casino and described the escape route. The plan looked risky, with guards positioned throughout. John proposed bringing weapons, but Cole and Fowler rejected the idea. Most of the guards were friends of theirs, and they wanted to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Fowler closed the meeting by stressing that everyone needed to remain calm and stick to the carefully prepared plan. The next day, the team gathered to finalize preparations. They sabotaged the prize car, modified another to look identical, and divided the tasks according to each member's role in the heist. When the planning was complete, John invited Eni to join an illegal street race. She refused at first, but her longing for the racing world eventually made her agree. A few days later, the modified prize car was placed inside the casino. Eni and John then checked into the hotel located in the same complex. By coincidence, they spotted Perm, one of Nico's men and a skilled driver. His presence raised suspicion. They wondered if Nico had secretly sent him to join the heist. Together with Fowler, they confronted Perm in Fowler's hotel room. Eni pressed Fowler for answers, convinced another plan was being kept from her. Fowler claimed he knew nothing and suggested Perm might be there on unrelated business. Still uneasy, Eni called Nico directly. Nico insisted he had never assigned Perm and had no idea why he was at the casino. The uncertainty only deepened her doubts. Later in the parking lot, they saw Perm's official car, confirming her belief that he had his own agenda. The following day, Eni took John to see her father. She felt conflicted and needed advice before committing to the heist. In the garage, she spoke to him privately, admitting she was caught up in dangerous work at the casino. Her father expressed regret and apologized for failing as a parent, knowing his mistakes had shaped her path. That evening, Eni and John sat together on the beach. John opened up, saying he never wanted to lose her again. He called her the person who completed his life and assured her that he was no longer the man he used to be. He then asked her to return to the hotel with him and spend time together before the heist. In that moment, Eni revealed she was pregnant. John was stunned, realizing they were about to become a family. He softened, pressing his ear against her belly as if to connect with their child. The next morning, Eni woke up alone and panicked, thinking John had abandoned her again. After searching, she found him at the casino, where he explained he had only gone to buy her a small gift to prove his sincerity. Relieved, Eni chose to believe him, certain for the first time that he had truly changed. With that trust renewed, they pushed forward with the heist. Kenny made sure the stolen money was directed toward the prize car, while Cole discreetly carried the cash and stored it in the trunk without drawing attention. Fowler instructed Eni to stay in position behind the wheel, ready to drive once the signal was given. John was tasked with securing the car keys, but before he could, two thugs blocked his way and forced him into a violent fight. As the struggle unfolded, the car was started, and Eni immediately took control. Her relief was short-lived when rows of police suddenly surrounded the vehicle and raised their weapons. With quick reflexes, Eni reversed hard, striking an officer who tried to stop her. She then spun the car forward and accelerated, breaking through the blockade. Her nerves tightened when she almost hit a pregnant woman, but she braked in time. The near miss froze her briefly as she thought of her own unborn child. Gunfire rattled against the car, but the bulletproof glass held. Eni pressed the accelerator again, weaving through the chaos. Although she managed to escape the first barricade, more police units were waiting outside, turning the situation into a full chase. Using her driving skills, Eni outmaneuvered the police. Even when cornered, she forced her way through a tight gap that caused two police cars to collide. But the situation grew worse when she realized another vehicle was tailing them. It was Perm, the subordinate she had suspected all along. Through her rearview mirror, she saw Perm firing at police cars without hesitation, flipping them over. To shield herself and John, Eni slowed down so the bulletproof frame could absorb the shots. An officer rammed her vehicle in the confusion, forcing her to push back and escape once more. The chase spilled into a racetrack. There, Eni repeatedly pressed against Perm's car until it smashed into the barrier. Amid the chaos, John confronted Perm directly. Their clash turned fierce. John tried to fire his gun, but his car lost control, causing his weapon to slip away. In the panic, John's car overturned. Eni stopped immediately and rushed to save him, crying as she pulled at the wreck. John was unconscious, and Perm took the chance to escape with the money. That night, Perm prepared to flee with the cash. What he did not know was that Cole had planted a tracker in the trunk earlier. Using the signal, Eni found him. Pointing her weapon, she demanded he surrender the money. The tension peaked when John, badly injured but still alive, appeared from behind. With his last strength, he aimed and shot Perm before he could react. Perm's girlfriend then tried to run Eni over, but failed. After a final struggle marked by betrayal and violence, the stolen money was secured once more, ready to be returned to Nico. The next morning, Eni bought bread for John. Instead of handing it to him softly, she tossed it at his injured face with a teasing smile. She wanted him to stop looking weak, especially now that he was about to become a father. After breakfast, they went to meet Nico to return the stolen money and close the matter. But as soon as they arrived, everything collapsed. John suddenly turned violent, killing Fowler and several of Nico's men. Eni froze in disbelief, horrified by what she was witnessing. John then tried to justify himself. He insisted he had done it for her and their child, believing the money would secure their future. Yet as the words left his mouth, regret appeared on his face. He realized too late that his choices had only dragged them deeper into ruin. Cornered by his actions, Eni raised her gun. With tears streaming, she pulled the trigger. John collapsed to the floor, gazing weakly at her one last time before his eyes closed. She rushed to his side, clutching him in despair, but her grief turned into hysterical sobs. She loved him, and she carried his child, but she could not forgive what he had done. Later, Eni went to Nico's house. Her arrival startled him, especially when she admitted that she had killed John because she could no longer tolerate his recklessness. She also revealed that his assistant had betrayed him by sending Perm to interfere with the heist. As she prepared to leave, Nico thanked her for always carrying out her work faithfully. He offered her part of the money so she could survive. But then he noticed a pistol left on the table, deliberately placed there by Eni. It was meant for his assistant. Moments after she stepped outside, gunshots rang from inside the house. Nico had executed the traitor. Shaken and conflicted, Eni walked away carrying a bag full of cash. The weight of her choices lingered as the story came to its end. So the moral of the story is, if your life already feels like a soap opera with bank jobs, car chases, and surprise pregnancies, maybe just stick to a 9 to 5 and avoid dating criminals in the first place.